It's a border town, but it's also one of the biggest border towns in the United States. So we are in the back streets of San Bernardo Avenue in downtown Laredo, commonly known as La Samber. This is personal to me because this is often where my mother worked and walked around. She stayed around this area. There would be times where I would have to come down here to look for her.
Claudine Lueda was a mother. She loved her 5 children, and her family loved her. Let's talk about your mom. What was she like?
My mom, she was perfect. She was beautiful. She was funny. She was the best cook ever. You know, very thoughtful, very lovable. You know, always reminding me like how much she loved me.
We were, I think, well grounded by my family, and you know, we didn't have much, but we had what we needed.
We were known as the güeritas, the little white girls, because my mother was originally from Glasgow, Scotland, and my father, he was born and raised here in Laredo, Texas. Family was very important for her.
She wanted us to have a better life and felt like she couldn't provide that for us, so then she resorted to the streets.
She started going into a depression, and she didn't know there would be a way out.
And we started noticing more habits.
She had her own demons, but at the end of the day, she loved us.
Did you worry about her safety?
Every day. I would, you know, cry, pray to God, because she was on the streets, you know. I always had that worry in the back of my head.
Claudine was a woman who worked on San Bernardo Avenue. San Bernardo has a unique kind of character on its own. It's known as having those little mom and pop shops. It's also known for its dark side, the drug use, the drug exchanges. It's always been really known as that sort of red light district.
I was born and raised right here in South Texas, so I know the good people of Laredo are humble, warm, welcoming, and grounded in their Mexican-American heritage.
You're gonna see so much of the Mexican culture here in Laredo. Laredo's known for the Jalapeño Festival.
This town is called the Gateway City. And because it's right here on the border, there's a heavy law enforcement presence here. This is not a place where people fear for their safety. And that's why the murder of a young woman on the outskirts of town in 2018 shook this community to its very core.
911.
I'm here driving by Jeffries Road. I believe I found a dead body there. ¿Hay un cuerpo? Sí.
I'll go ahead and send somebody.
Okay, thank you.
She was found in Webb County in a Colonia area.
There's nothing after. Once you get outside of the city limits, it's rural Texas. It's, you know, it's just farmland, it's very flat land, dirt roads.
Not an area that city folks will visit unless they have a purpose to be there.
It was along this dusty road that a rancher found a woman's body face down in that brush. She had been shot at close range several times. To investigators, this wasn't just a murder.
It would have happened about right here.
Right here.
It seemed like an actual execution. Back of the head and shot her here.
Captain Federico Calderon of the Webb County Sheriff's Office and Texas Ranger E.J. Salinas led the investigation, and they brought us to the crime scene. And she was found out in the open, where anyone could have seen this.
Right here, half on the road, half on the berm there, but yeah, completely out in the open.
How long has she been out here?
Hours. It could have happened that night before.
What leads you to believe that she was killed here and not somewhere else and then her body dumped here?
The
The evidence that
The
was
evidence
around
left
the
behind, yeah.
body. I mean, the showcases were right there next to the body. I mean,
The eagle-eyed detectives find .40 caliber shell casings as well as distinct tire tread marks that appear to be from a pickup truck.
And where were the tire marks found? Show me back here.
So the tire marks would have been here from where he turned around.
And then he just left her here.
He just left her here.
What kind of person would do this?
A monster.
We have new information regarding the body of a woman found in northwest Webb County. Authorities have not yet released the name of the victim.
I was extremely worried that that could have been my mother. That was a fear, you know, I had every night growing up.
Later that day, the medical examiner was able to identify the victim, but it wasn't Claudine Lueda, as her daughter Sierra had feared.
Authorities confirmed tonight that the victim in this case is 29-year-old Melissa Ramirez from right here in Laredo.
As soon as law enforcement identified the victim as Melissa Ramirez, investigators notified her mother, Maria Cristina Benavides.
Two detectives go to your front door. What do they say?
Encontramos a su hija fallecida en un rancho en el norte. Yo sentí, se me fue la sangre, sentí helado y me derrumbé. Me derrumbé, no podía hablar, solo estaba llorando, estaba gritando.
I grew up with Melissa since we were little. We were best friends, so I know her since she was a baby. Everybody just loved being around her because she was always joking around, singing and dancing, and she was a human being, a beautiful human being.
I spoke to my mother, and you know, I was very relieved that it wasn't her, and she did share with me that somebody from Samber had been murdered.
The community itself in San Bernardo, everybody knew each other and they would watch out for each other.
What was her relationship like with Melissa?
They were very close, and they would protect each other in the streets.
No one knew what happened, how it happened. It was just a waiting game.
But it wasn't long before investigators get a break in the case.
A vehicle had been seen leaving the scene of the crime in a suspicious manner.
Witnesses at the scene had spotted a dark truck along Jeffries Road near the victim's body.
Before the vehicle left the scene, witnesses were able to get a license plate.
Who was that person?
That person ended up being a police officer.